Hi Class 5, just a quick video to talk you through the steps for today's learning intention. So we're using the column method to subtract today. Step 1, you'll see in your pack, is to read the equation. So I'm going to start by reading my equation before I move on to step 2. We have 63,852 minus 6,661. So 63,852 minus 6,661. That's my first step done. I'm quite clear on the place value of all of the digits in these numbers because I've just read it out loud, and I'm clear on what I need to do because I've identified the symbol in the middle of the equation. So now I need to move on to step 2. I need to place the digits of the minuend. The minuend is the first number in the equation. I need to place the digits of the minuend into the columns according to their place value. So I'm going to label my columns. You don't have to do this, but it might be helpful when it comes to your next number. We have 10,000. We have some thousands. We have hundreds, tens, and ones. I'm basing this all off my first number here. So my minuend, I'm going to pop the digits of the minuend, that's this number here, into the right columns. So I'm going to start from the 10,000s. I've got 6, because it's 60,000. 3 in the thousands, it's 63. 8 in the hundreds. 5 in the tens. 2 in the ones. So I've copied each digit from my minuend into the columns ready for subtraction. Now step 3 is to repeat step 2 with the subtrahend, and the subtrahend is the second number in our equation, the number that we are subtracting. So I can place those digits now into the right columns. 6,000 is the first digit. We've got 6,000. That needs to go into this column here. So underneath the 3, I'm writing 6. Then we have 6 in the hundred column, 6 in the tens column, and 1 in the ones column. I can pop my symbol over to the side as well, just to remind myself of what I'm doing if I forget. And now I need to finish off my lovely column method by drawing my lines very neatly underneath with a ruler. Now, if I can do this with my elbow, you can definitely do this neatly at home. So one line, and then another one underneath to record your answers in. Now you've done step 1, 2, and 3, you can start step 4. We start from the ones and we subtract the subtrahend from the minuend. So we subtract the bottom number, the subtrahend, from the minuend. Starting from the ones, we're going to do 2, take away 1, which is 1. So I'm now finding the difference at the bottom here. Then I'm moving on to the tens column. 5, take away 6. Now I can't actually take 6 away from 5. So I need to borrow, and I'm going to borrow from the hundreds column. So what I do is I turn my 800 into 700, and then I place the 100 here. So now I'm doing 150 take away 60. That's what's happening here. But to simplify it, because I'm working in columns, I can read that as 15 take away 6. Now 15 take away 6 is 9. I can now move on to my hundreds column. I've now got 7 because I used 100 over here. So I've got 7 take away 6, which is 1. Then I move on to my thousands. Again, my subtrahend, the number I'm taking away, the digit in the thousands column is bigger than the minuend. So I need to borrow again. So I'm going to borrow from the 10,000s. This now becomes 5. It's really important that we change this number before we start moving numbers into other columns so we don't forget. So I've now made this 5. My 10,000 can now go over here into my thousands column. So I've actually got 13,000 take away 6,000. But because we're using the column method, I can do that simply as 13 take away 6. So 13 take away 6 is 7. And then if we move on to the next column to continue the subtraction, we can see we're doing 5. There's nothing underneath. I'm subtracting nothing from my 50,000. So we just copy the 5 under here. And now I've found the difference, 57,191.